This sports sponsored by Rapid Radios. Padres got a big victory, comeback win over the Yankees last night, 4-3. They'll be back in action on primetime on TBS at 4 o'clock. Michael King will be going for the Pods, while Clark Schmidt will be going for the Yankees. In the NBA tonight, the first game of the series between the Timberwolves and the Warriors will be going at 6:30. Minnesota is currently 6.5-point favorites at home, with the point total set at 210.5. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Yeah, let's get it going here on a Tuesday on San Diego Sports 760. Welcome in. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long. We will be with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. All right, plenty to get to today. Another pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy String, Sierra Hull, all performing live May 15th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater in Chula Vista. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. We will get to an excellent night in the NBA postseason coming up in just a little bit. We will start with the San Diego Padres, who got a 4-3 win over the New York Yankees in New York yesterday on a meaningless May 5th night out in New York. It was rainy, it was soggy, it was wet. A meaningless day, right? In the baseball season of 162 games. I don't think so, man. I think last night packed a lot of meaning for the San Diego Padres. Tatis and Mike Shildt both get tossed in the 8th inning. When hope was lost for the Padres. They were down 3-0. It was a nothing game. I think that most teams at that point on the road, soggy night, couple rain delays, a torrential downpour at some point that you thought, how is this game still being played? How are they still allowing pitchers to be throwing a baseball when the rain is coming down like it was coming down? So you would think 8th inning, you're losing 3-0. Maybe time to fold in the lawn chairs, go get an early night, a hot shower back at the hotel. That's not what the Padres did. No, Tatis gets fired up after being called out on strikes. Well, he actually swung at the 3rd strike, but the strike right before that was BS. It was a terrible call by the home plate umpire. Tatis makes his feelings clear. I'm sure there was a F yourself or F you in there from Tatis that gets him tossed. And then the fireworks explode because then Mike Shildt makes his way out of the dugout after jawing at the home plate umpire all game long. Mike Shildt had finally had enough when Tatis gets thrown out for, by the way, which was his first time in his entire career. So Mike Shildt makes his way up the dugout stairs, walks out, is given the business to the home plate umpire for a solid 2 or 3 minutes. And at one point, even has to kind of step around the third base umpire who would come in to intervene and get back in the face of the home plate umpire. This was the perfect moment for Mike Shildt to do so. Because what happens afterwards? Well, Mike Shildt gets tossed out. Padres score 4 runs in this inning. Padres win the game. Great on a May 5th. Even if the Padres hadn't come back to win, this was still the perfect moment for Mike Shildt to do so. Even if the Padres lose that game 3-0, this was the perfect moment for Mike Shildt to finally get out there, defend his player Tatis, the best player on the Padres team so far through this season, and defend his guy all the way to the point where he gets thrown out himself. I love this moment because of the quotes that followed, because of what happened in the Padres clubhouse afterwards. It was Manny Machado who steps up and says, "It was effing great, man. He effing fired us up, and T Wade fired us up on second base. Lockridge after that, Arise after that. I mean, it was just an overall team effort, and we got the effing dub." That's from Manny Machado. Xander Bogaerts, Schulte came down the tunnel. He was still chirping. I think he was ready to fight. He was ready. He kept going. Luis Arise, I love Mike Shildt. He supports his players. Tatis, Mike always has our back, and he shows us every night in every way possible, and I love that from a manager. I love playing for that guy. There weren't too many of those moments with Bob Melvin. There weren't too many of those moments with Jace Tingler. There definitely weren't those moments with Andy Green. Mike Shildt has done something with this clubhouse. We've seen the effect over the last 1.5 to 2 years where Mike Shildt and his players, they have something copacetic going, and the culture's at an all-time high right now. And here's the biggest part of last night. These are the moments early on a meaningless May 5th that can propel you through the early days of the season, that can propel you through a rainstorm, and that can propel you through the dog days of summer. This is something to lean on that happened on a meaningless May 5th that the Padres can use the rest of the way. This was a big moment last night. At the time this happened, the Yankees had a 94.5% chance to win. Obviously, the Padres ended up winning that game. Sammy, you got to love it when a manager gets fired up like that and the guys respond the way they did.
It was the perfect way we've seen this year at the Padres win games. It's been it's not really, even though the starting pitching staff has been decent at times and struggled at other times, the bullpen's been the best in baseball. They have a 1.66 ERA, and you saw what happened. I mean, Pivetta, pretty good start, giving up a couple runs though, but then the bullpen comes in and shuts it down. And to that end of, it's kind of one that you could have said rain delay. Merrill's coming back tomorrow. You know what? Let's pack it in. When Tatis went out, that was a perfect moment to go, all right, well, our best player, went 0 for 4 is on the night. So, it's not us. But then Schilt, got to give him credit. It was great seeing the kind of that edge that they were playing with, but they were playing with a lot last season when they played the Dodgers in the playoffs. They were playing with a real kind of bite to them. And shout out to Machado. Got to give some love to Xander Bogaerts. I mean, what he was able to do, taking it back to his Red Sox days, where that's how he made his hay. He cooked this team. He destroyed the Yankees. That was why Boston loved him and why he got the contract in San Diego. So it was a big win. It felt like more than just a win on May 5th. Beating the Yankees is a big deal, whether the clubhouse wants to admit it or not.
Tatis getting thrown out, I mean, kind of indefensible. That's your best player on the team. He might still get an at-bat in this game if things go well. Mike Schilt getting thrown out, perfect moment for me. I thought that was well-timed by Mike Schilt. The guys in the clubhouse obviously loved it. It led the Padres to a win. That's great on May 5th. But even if it hadn't, I think that him showing the team how much he has their back in that moment, and you can't fake it. You can't have one of those moments where you go out there and just give the umpire some business because you feel like you have to. You watch Mike Schilt last night. The glasses throw, the getting in the face, the fighting around the third base umpire. That was authentic from Schilty, and that's what you need. All right, we had 2 great games in the NBA last night. We'll get to both of them. Before we go any further, though, we got to get to the big 3 where Sammy Long takes us through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, hit the button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? Coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
We got up over 400 on the stream yesterday. That was great to see. Can we break 500 today? Follow us on X at Fletch and Sammy, on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. If we can get over 500 today on the day after Mike Schilt put it all out there. And
then we get to talk mess to Jim later. Not really John. John's just a very humble guy, but Jim,
I mean, they still kind of kick our asses on the stream, Sammy, but we're getting there.
See, you're letting
500's the first step. 500's the first step. Let's get there today.
All right. Every road team so far in the round 2 of the NBA playoffs is down 0-1. So all the home teams have lost. Who should be the most scared of them going home early?
Ooh, I like this one. Well, if you watch last night's games, Knicks are pretty scary. They figured stuff out. The Cavs got to be the most scared. That's where I'm at here.
You like Indiana in that series?
I like Indiana, partially because of what you said yesterday, Sammy. What was it? We low-key have not given enough respect to the Pacers.
Low-key have not given them enough respect.
Low-key.
Yeah, the Pacers are deep. They are a deep team, and the reason that no one has given them any shot in the series...
because they're playing the Cavs.
But then also because Evan Mobley, there's supposed to be a massive size advantage with Miles Turner being the only big for the Pacers. And if Evan Mobley's out for game 2 tonight, but he's still questionable, that's a problem. If they lose both in Cleveland, they go back to Indiana. I'm with you on that.
Cavs got to be most nervous. OKC a close second. I'm fully flipping on what I said yesterday.
I think it makes me sick as a Los Angeles Laker fan sitting here with Marshall, who's another diehard Los Angeles Laker fan. The Denver Nuggets make me sick, but last night showed the difference between a young basketball team in Oklahoma City who did not know how to close a game. I mean, I don't know if you watched the game or not, but they're fouling. They're trying to play the foul game, and they wouldn't even let them get the ball in and try to burn some seconds. They would foul them immediately. Chet Holmgren misses the 2 free throws, and then Aaron Gordon hits it. Denver's a team that knows how to win. It's going to be going back to Denver, which because of the elevation is an extremely tough place to play. If Oklahoma City better win game 2, because if they lose game 2, this series might be over in 5.
Now, I've talked a lot about the physical appearance of Thibodeau over the last couple of days, and I am worried about him.
You're not very kind to Tom.
I'm worried about Tom. I'm worried about Tibbs. Look, I'm a fan of Tibbs. I have been for a long time. He's looking rough. Can we all just say a prayer for Chet Holmgren's legs, which are the tiniest things I think I've ever seen in my life, and feel like they can break like a toothpick?
He definitely does not hit leg day.
No, he does not. It's like Kevin Durant-esque, but even worse. His legs are toothpicks. They're tiny. Worried about him.
But I'm pulling for the Knicks because anytime Boston loses, that's a beautiful day.
Dude, I really like Jalen Brunson.
I'm
a fan of the way he plays
Is he the best Jalen in the series? Maybe we'll get back to that later on.
Maybe. All right, next.
All right, let's head back to the Padres. Is Xander Bogart not the best player, the most important player for the Padres' success.
No, not even close.
Well,
I could probably go
more.
5 before I get to Bogarts, maybe even 6. Fernando Tatis Jr. is the most important Padre for their success. Manny Machado, number 2. Jackson Merrill, number 3. Berging on number 2. He's getting close. And then you go to pitchers, I think, and probably Suarez is up there as the closer. I would say Pivetta, Cease, and King are all above Xander Bogaerts. He's way down the list for me.
Here's the problem with that. All those guys we know produce.
Exactly.
And we know that when they all produce, it's still not enough to get past the Dodgers. So we're looking at what needs to be done to get over the hump. Xander Bogaerts playing the way he has the last week, that is something that is not accounted for, that did not show up last year.
Okay, but last year's team didn't get past the Dodgers. That doesn't mean anything for this year's team.
Yeah, but
it's a completely separate thing.
Yes, but the team is pretty much the exact
same. And
same.
last year they do get over the Dodgers if they don't go 24 straight scoreless innings.
Again, and why did they go 24 scoreless innings?
Because nobody hit, not just Xander.
Nobody hit, but we expect Tatis to hit. Machado was to blame for that, but Bogaerts was the guy that you're looking at with the massive contract and going, hey, need you to step up. This is the guy that...
All right, if we're going individual blame for that series, I think Xander Bogaerts still falls down my list. He hasn't shown enough to be important or to be a number 1 most important player for the Padres. Not even close.
Again, not the best player. But if Xander Bogaerts is hitting in the middle of the lineup, what happened last year in the playoffs? 7, 8, 9 hitters. Every time I got after Merrill, there was nothing happening for the bats of the Padres. Bogaerts can change that. He is one of the most important players for the success of the team. Not the best player, one of the most important players.
All right, next.
All right, heading to the NFL. So this is a crazy story I couldn't believe when I came in. A fan is suing the NFL, not Shedeur Sanders, but about Shedeur Sanders dropping in the draft because the fan endured emotional distress.
Oh, shut up.
From the NFL blackballing him. Does his name rhyme with Rion Randers?
Maybe, man. Dude, this is ridiculousness.
$100 million in damages.
$100 million. Look, anyone can sue anyone for anything. We know that. But this feels like ridiculous. If I'm a judge and this comes across my table, I think I'm taking it out back, lighting it with my cigarette lighter, and just stomping it down the drain.
I don't understand how you can sue for your emotional distress about someone else.
I could sue you about my emotional distress if I wanted to.
I would.
Sammy makes fun of me for being bald. There you go. $100 million.
Does that keep you up at night?
Hand it over, Sammy. Yeah, it does. I can tell that to a court.
You can tell that to a court.
Anyone can sue anyone for anything.
I can't believe this though. I mean, this is it's
emotional distress.
We have never seen. I went from not being the biggest Shedeur Sanders fan to actually really rooting for the guy.
You know what? I'd like to go back to 2009, 2010, when Rich Ohrnberger started falling down the draft board, and I would like to sue the NFL for emotional distress.
I feel bad. It's stories like this that the casual person looks at Shedeur Sanders, and it's not even his fault. Shedeur Sanders isn't doing this and want to rip the guy. Why is it his fault?
It's partially his fault.
Why?
Obviously, the teams did not like what they saw in interviews.
I know, but we have seen guys fall because of off the field issues, because of court cases, of things like that. Shedeur Sanders being cocky is his worst thing. Joe Burrow.
It sounds like he was downright an a-hole in some of the interviews.
And then it came back to bite him. But we're getting to a point where Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round in terms of talent is off the charts. Joe Burrow gets celebrated. They love him for being an ass to interviewers and all this stuff. And Shedeur Sanders, it's a different expectation.
We don't know what happened behind closed doors. And look, honestly, Joe Burrow could have gone in and been the perfect guy in interviews. We don't know. We will never know. But I don't think that comparison's apt because Joe Burrow came into the NFL and won right away. Joe Burrow got to
what if Shedeur Sanders comes in and wins right away?
That's why I say Shedeur Sanders has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. If he goes out and is the starting quarterback for Cleveland this year and it works, Shedeur Sanders gets to flip the middle finger to everybody who hated him.
The lawsuit's insane, but it is crazy that it's almost a narrative to take this guy down. And it's all because I guess Deion pissed off a bunch of people, but Deion Sanders was too good that everyone was going to deal with it. So
it sounds like Shedeur pissed off a fair amount of people too. Like, I don't think he's totally blameless in his name falling down the draft boards. I really don't. But we'll see, man. He could go light it up next year. And honestly, I'm rooting for it at this point because I would love to see NFL teams be like, I'm sorry, Shedeur. I think that'd be funny as hell. All right, quick break. When we come back to the Padres. What happened last night on May 5th? Again, May 5th is a meaningless date when it comes to a 162 game season. But last night is something they can build upon. Let's talk about it. San Diego Sports 760. It's Fletch for Gary Cooper at Mountain Trust Mortgage and Realty. The team over there gives you excellent opportunities to take advantage of the latest cost cutting edge loan products. Call Gary at 858-376-1299. Visit him at mountaintrustmortgage.com. I've known Gary Cooper now going on 5 or 6 years. I used to record commercials for Gary. Now Gary Cooper is my real estate guy. He is my mortgage guy. My wife and I are hoping to lock in a home here in the next couple months. Gary Cooper is the guy we're working with, because we went to 5 different companies. We got 5 different answers. And then we finally went and knocked on his door up in Rancho Bernardo. And we got a 2-hour lesson from Gary Cooper telling us about all the different opportunities for loans, all the different ways that other companies will make you spend more than you need to spend. Go call Gary Cooper today at 858-376-1299. Whether you're purchasing a new home, refinancing your loan, or looking to sell your home, Gary Cooper will walk you through every single step of how to make sure you are not spending $1 more than you need to, because that's what Gary Cooper prides himself on. Look, he's been in the market for over 20 years. Why would you trust someone from out of state, out of market, when you have somebody like this in your own backyard who knows this place better than just about anyone? Gary Cooper has been answering the call for over 20 years here in San Diego. Call him today, 858-376-1299, 858-376-1299, or visit him online at mountaintrustmortgage.com. It's San Diego Sports 760. We are giving you money, paying you to listen. We got no shame about it. San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 to 6. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportsSD.com. Your keyword for this hour is happy, as in Gilmore. Happy. Take that over to sportsSD.com. Enter it there for a shot to win up to $1,000. And your next chance, your next keyword will be at 1:00 today. Sammy, right before we crack the mics for this segment, you said something that I believe is the most important thing you've ever said out of your mouth. Tell me it.
I'm not pulling a bit. What are you talking about?
When you said,
there's per a study, there are more people. Americans are spending more money on sports gambling than they are on investments.
look, it might not be the smartest thing to do, but I appreciate that. I'm glad where we're at right now in 2025.
It's not like people get tricked into like I know stock. Like I don't know stock.
Stock market equals gambling.
Like I'll watch CNBC and be like, oh, okay, I'll put money on this. Like, I know what's going on.
I like to think I know more about Steph Curry than I know about medicine.
Yeah, exactly.
So why am I going to be investing in pharmaceuticals?
The stock market is like, yeah, it's I don't know what's going on there, but I do know that Curry's going to go into Minnesota and win tonight.
Thank you.
You know,
I do know that Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to hit a lot of home runs this year. So why would I invest in out of the NASDAQ when I could invest in Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Thinking about quitting the show and becoming a finance bro.
I think you should. That'd be a great idea, Sammy.
My hero, Jordan Belfort.
But also still work here for free.
Yeah. Of course.
That way,
hopefully we get rich enough we can just buy the station.
Sure. If that's what you want to spend your money on, you're more than welcome to. Hey, it's San Diego Sports 760. We got a long ways to go today. We'll get back to the Padres and Mike Schilt. I thought that was a wildly important moment last night that happened out in New York in a game that I cannot believe didn't get rained out 3 different times. Like Nick Pivetta maybe had his roughest start of his Padres season so far. I'm not going to put an ounce of blame on Nick Pivetta. I'm going to put every ounce of blame on God and the rain that was coming down last night. I don't know how that was allowed to continue when they were in the middle of a torrential downpour, but we'll get back to them in a little bit. What I do want to know is, Sammy, you're very cultured for a 22-year-old man here in the United States of America. Did you happen to catch any of the Met Gala last night?
Marshall and I are sitting back here. We're flabbergasted at what you talked about before we went on air. Because
did you find the picture?
I didn't find that picture. I saw some other. I saw the only thing I knew from the Met Gala is that Timothy Chalamet skipped the Met Gala to go to the Knicks game, which I very much respect.
I saw Timothy Chalamet partying with Saquon Barkley the other night. He's making his rounds.
Saquon Barkley was there. I saw that. I saw it was Lamar Jackson was at the Derby the other weekend.
I don't know, but I do know Halle Berry was there and leaving not much to the imagination. Thank you, Miss Halle. I appreciate that. 13-year-old Ben really appreciates that. I saw Sabrina Carpenter there, who ESPN posted.
She was on
their
SNL
page.
on Saturday night.
ESPN, who I believe was there for LeBron James, who did not show up, had Sabrina Carpenter all over their front page of their TikTok and Instagram. So good for them. But she looked fantastic. And yeah, Halle Berry really stole the show.
Don't you have a wife?
I do.
Oh, yeah. So Florence Pugh yesterday, Halle today.
Sabrina always, every day.
Sabrina always, every day. If only Tate McRae was there, you would have been in heaven.
Oh, it would have been the end of all ends, Sammy. I don't know. My wife gets to talk about Sam Houston nonstop, so I feel like I could talk about some celebrities.
Every woman at the station keeps talking about Benson Boone. It's all I see all over this thing.
Well, Benson Boone, I mean, honestly, he is dreamy, Sammy. He came here and performed one time right before he really popped off. I think it was right after the American Idol thing. He got signed to a label, and so he was here in this room at one point, but he was in the performance studio performing 3 songs for all of us. I think Travis Dale literally fainted. Travis,
I've heard, is trying to get his washboard abs.
It was quite the moment, man. Benson Boone, he is really, really talented. But yeah, Met Gala looked like it went well last night for everybody. If you're not named LeBron James, who didn't he had an honorary seat last night at the Met Gala. He was like a featured guest.
I don't want my king showing up at the Met Gala. He needs to recover. Okay, we need to regroup. We need to get to free agency. Need to make some moves, get a big. We're not worried about what dress he's wearing.
But he was a featured guest at the Met Gala, which he did not attend. But he did not attend.
You're just being a LeBron hater right now.
I'm fine with that. Look, if you're going to sign up for something, Sammy, you sign up to come to work every day at noon. You're here every day at noon.
He doesn't get paid to go to the Met Gala.
I guarantee you he gets paid to go to the Met Gala.
He gets paid to wear a suit.
But here's the thing, like there's a seat for LeBron James there. That seat's empty by the time the thing starts. That's kind of a crappy look, I think. It's also a bad look if he goes.
He's also hurt.
It's too hurt to walk down a red carpet.
Yeah, he was just playing on basketball. An acorn and we're out for a year. So I don't think that
I was back at work 3 days later, bro. 3 days. That's all I took off, and then another couple days for surgery. It was 3 days. I got hurt on a Sunday. I was back
I don't like you talking about injuries when your claim to fame is tripping on an acorn and being out of commission.
My left foot slipped on an acorn. My right leg got stuck on the slope. I broke my leg with my own ass. 2 broken bones, by the way. I don't think LeBron even has 1 right now. So I would have been at the Met Gala. I would have gladly taken his place. Neither here nor there. We do have a pair of tickets to give away today to the Outlaw Music Festival, which is happening on May 15th at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com for Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy Strings, Sierra Hull. That's a hell of a lineup going down out in Chula Vista on May 15th. But if you want to win a pair of tickets, you're going to need to listen for our best friend in the whole wide world, Kevin Acey. He's coming up at 1 o'clock today. Immediately after Kevin is done with us, immediately after, we are giving away those tickets. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Coming up at 12:45 today. Long shots. We were very close last night. Russ is kicked out forever, maybe.
Well, yeah, it was also your pick.
That was my pick. I'll take credit for that one. But also, the pick you had that I vetoed wouldn't have happened.
I also gave you the Nuggets on the spread and the Knicks. So really, I had a great day yesterday.
Yeah, Sammy had a great day. He just didn't make any of us money. So we'll try to remedy that coming up at 12:45 today. Coming up next, we will get back to the pods, which I know we tease for right now, but we're doing that next. San Diego Sports 760.
This sports sponsored by Superstar Car Wash. In the NBA tonight, the first game be going at 4 o'clock with the Pacers taking on the Cavs in game 2. Indiana stole game 1. The Cleveland is currently favored by 7.5. Evan Mobley is questionable. And the night game at 6:30, the Warriors will be in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. Minnesota is favored by 6.5 with the point total set at 210.5. That will be the first game of that series. If you know, you go. At Superstar Car Wash, they're proud to have over 550,000 members. Be in the know and try what everyone loves today. Text Super CA to 27800 to get 50% off their best wash. Terms and conditions apply.
San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. A text comes in from the 619. Good job with picks yesterday. 2 for 3. Who knew Westbrook would try? Keep it going. I'm going to play your picks this week. No pressure, boys.
Yes, sir. See, they know. I want to keep in mind, I told you the Knicks had a shot to win. I said plus 8.5, and I told you, and you took them minus 10.5. You took Oklahoma City to win the game by 11 points. I told you that was crazy.
And they were up 20.
It's not where you are in the third quarter. It's where you are at the fourth.
And they were up 20. And OKC kind of gave it away there at the end. And credit to Russell Westbrook, who ruined our night, but saved the night for
damn Russell Westbrook.
For the Denver Nuggets. Damn Russell. Jokic was pretty good too last night, man.
42.
There are points where he is completely unguardable, and I was wrong on that one. Last night, Jokic was unguardable for quite a bit of that game.
They know how to close, and Oklahoma City doesn't.
2 really fun NBA games last night. We'll get into those a little bit later. Kevin Acee is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock today. Kevin Acee had some quotes in the Union Tribune this morning from guys from last night who were impressed by Mike Schultz, and I think it's important. Let's go over them one more time. Manny Machado, we got the F and dub. Manny was just cussing all over the place last night. He was pumped up. But Xander Bogaerts, Schulte came down the tunnel. He was still chirping. I think he was ready to fight. He was ready. He kept going. Luis Ariz, I love Mike Schulte. He supports his players. Fernando Tatis, Mike always has our back, and he shows us every night in every way possible. And I love that from a manager. I love playing for that guy. Mike Schult's a goofball. Mike Schultz overly positive at times. I think Mike Schultz goes too far sometimes talking about his players. The perfect example was spring training this year with Martin Maldonado, comparing him to Yadier Molina. Like, that's a crazy thing to do for a guy who we've seen a lot of Martin Maldonado. That's a crazy thing to do to compare him to one of the greatest catchers of all time. But what Mike Schultz does in this moment last night was a perfect timing for the night, right? It got the Padres the win. I firmly believe that Mike Schultz doesn't get tossed out in that moment, then the next 2 batters don't go the way they went. But not only for last night, but for the whole season, that it becomes a moment like last year. If you remember the night of the national championship in college basketball, the Padres came back from, I believe, 8-0 against the Chicago Cubs on kind of a nothing night, and they won that game. And that sort of launched them into the second half of the season where they had all the success that they had. Last night feels like one of those moments to me. And we don't need to talk about a turning point moment with this Padres team because they're winning a ton of games. They're like 15 games over 500 or something. But we do need to talk about moments for the dog days of summer that you can lean back on and remember where your team was going in the right direction. And last night was absolutely one of those, in a torrential downpour, in a night where if you lost, it wouldn't have really mattered because you had all those things stacked against you with the rain, with Jackson Merrill still being a day out, but you come back and get the win in the late innings when the Yankees had a 94.5% chance of winning in the 8th inning before that moment.
And you did against Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver was the guy who wasn't a closer for the Yankees last year, but because he was playing so well down the stretch and due to some injuries in the pen, he was the closer. He was the closer until the World Series, where he had a lot of success. He only struggled a little bit when Big Christmas hit the 2-run shot off him last year in Cleveland. But this team, I mean, there's some stats here on runs scored and runs against for the NL West. I thought this was kind of interesting. The Padres have scored lower than everyone but the Rockies with 137 runs scored, but they have
the Rockies suck.
Yes, they do. They have allowed the least runs with 98. The Dodgers have allowed 144. The Giants have allowed 138. And Arizona, because the bullpen's terrible, has allowed 175. So, and you can equate the 137 being behind the Dodgers at 189, the Giants at 166, and the D-backs at 180, kind of due to some injuries a little bit. Certainly that was a big thing there with the 3-8 slump.
A little bit of injuries.
But so, I mean, the bats, we know the bats are there. We know the bats that when they're fully healthy with Merrill coming back. This is why I kind of go back to what I said earlier. Xander Bogaerts being one of the most important players on the team, because when the Padres have struggled, it's been when 7, 8, 9 does not come through. And if Bogaerts hitting 5, he's hitting 6, they cannot stall out in the middle of the lineup and put so much pressure on Tatis and Merrill and Machado to be perfect. They got to get some help down the thing there. And it was kind of a vintage Padre win this season with the bullpen shutting it down. Pivetta wasn't his best start, but still wasn't a bad start either, especially with the rain and everything. If the bullpen's shutting teams down like this and you're allowing some of the best hitters in baseball, which the Padres have, to do their thing, they're a scary team.
I get what you're saying about Xander Bogaerts and being one of the more important players, but I do think that the Padres have to be in this mode right now where you're thinking everything you get from Xander is bonus. Like last year, it was great to complain about Xander Bogaerts because it was, what the hell's he doing making $25+ million a year and not performing? But at this point, you know what Xander Bogaerts is in a Padres uniform. So anything you get for him, I think you just consider a bonus.
But they can't get off him, though.
It's
That's
a crappy place to be. And yeah, you're stuck with him. But it's like Eric Hosmer in the waning years of his contract, which he's still somehow getting paid by the San Diego Padres. But with Hosmer towards the end, you were just like, well, if he can give us anything, man. So last night, great for Xander Bogaerts. Comes up big in a big moment.
But that needs to be expected. It's not because of his contract. Unless he wants to go in and take a massive pay cut, it's not okay to just expect Xander Bogaerts to be whatever, and then he does something every once in a while. It's like, oh, shout out to Xander Bogaerts. He's getting paid to be a superstar. And maybe he's not going to be a superstar at this point in his career, but he has to be a serviceable, solid player that is consistent.
I feel like it's not demeaning the Padres to say that Xander Bogaerts is just a bonus at this point, but it's how they have to think. Like, it's actually me calling for the Padres to do more. Maybe at this trade deadline, you go get somebody. If Xander has to take a back seat at this point, what's he shown you to think that he deserves a front seat on this ride? Like, you need to stack this team as much as possible because you do have Manny Machado hitting really well. Fernando Tatis Jr. playing at an NL MVP level. Jackson Merrill, hopefully when he returns, is playing like a top 10 MVP. So you have these guys right now. So now is the time where if maybe it's just time to move on from expecting huge things out of Xander and try to stack this lineup with other people and be fine if he has to ride the bench. You signed the contract.
You can't ride the bench.
He signed the contract. You signed the contract. That's done. Would you rather just keep hoping that Xander Bogaerts does something great, or would you rather just come to grips with the reality of what he is?
They need to expect.
Right, but if you expect something that's never going to come, that's just you holding the bag left over.
I know, but unless he wants to take a pay cut, to what I'm saying,
but he never will, and the Padres won't get out of it.
So he needs to produce it. It's not. This is not. People are running around saying Bogaerts sucks, and then he has a couple good games. Like, oh, Bogaerts is amazing. He saved everything. This is why he's one of the most important players. He has to be good. I understand what you're saying in terms of he doesn't expecting him to be a superstar is unrealistic. That's probably not happening, but the contract isn't going away anytime soon. It's not like 2 years from now he's off the books or a year from now they can do something. He's a San Diego Padre for the foreseeable future.
Like 10 years.
And if Bogaerts is being serviceable, what it allows you to do, because the starting rotation does need help. Even if Darvish comes back, they need to go add an arm simply because Darvish is he's 38 and he's dealt with these injuries. You don't know what he's going to be when he's coming back. I'm expecting big things from him, but at the same time, that's the thing. Cease has not been up to snuff so far this year. Michael King and Pivetta have been very serviceable, but you're going to need another rotation arm. You can't, if Bogaerts starts playing bad again, you're going to also need hitters at the back end of the lineup. 6, 7, 8, 9. And if Bogaerts can sustain this, it's one less problem that AJ Preller has to worry about at the deadline going after some pitchers.
Now, the best news for the Padres, regardless of Xander, regardless of pitching staff, is that their superstar, who I think we can expect great things from the rest of the season, Jackson Merrill, is making his way back most likely tonight. Now, that's huge for the Padres. I think you saw in that 3-8 stretch, the number one thing that was missing was this team all of a sudden didn't have that same fire, didn't have that same power. Well, Jackson Merrill's that guy. He's been that guy his entire career. Should have been the rookie of the year last year in the National League. And we expect great things from him again this year. Now, Jackson Merrill, Sammy, you were kind of big on this at the beginning of the season, not expecting a sophomore slump, but understanding that we could absolutely see a sophomore slump. Jackson Merrill before injury, zero slump in sight. In fact, he was as hot as ever. He was playing great to start the season. Is still among the top Padres in terms of home runs. I believe he has 3 on the year so far. Jackson Merrill coming back. Now is the time you worry about something, right? Has his rhythm been interrupted for the first time in his career? Has injury holding him out for the last month or so interrupted what's been going on with Jackson Merrill, which has just been steadily climbing upwards throughout his career so far? Is now the time to worry about Jackson Merrill? That's what I'm concerned with going into tonight.
Yeah, hopefully he kind of hits the ground running. I mean, you saw it at the start of this season. You thought there might be a little bit of regression, and there wasn't. So even if he takes a little ways to get going, it's still Jackson Merrill. 619 says, is today's show recording? You guys are burying Bogaerts. For the last week, he's been coming around after coming off a couple of years of injuries. You guys need to chill. No, that's exactly the opposite. Today is not a recording. We don't do recorded shows, number one. Number two,
would we be talking about Halle Berry's outfit last night at the Met Gala?
If it was recorded. And Xander Bogaerts, what we're saying is needs to keep up this pace. We're giving Xander Bogaerts credit. We're just saying we're not going to all come together and sing Kumbaya because he has one good week of play. He's making $350 million. It's okay to expect greatness from Xander Bogaerts, and that this should have been happening. The Padres didn't sign him to that deal to be good every once in a while. So yeah, we're going to give him his flowers when he comes back. Hopefully this is a positive trend where Bogaerts becomes a big time hitter like AJ Preller and like the late great Peter Seidler thought when he signed him. but we're not going to just come together and be like praising Bogarts left and right because he has one good game.
Believe me, I would love nothing more than for Xander Bogaerts to go on a tear and turn the clock back to 2019 when he was one of the best players in baseball. I would love nothing more for that to happen. But we've seen good weeks from Xander in the past. We've seen good months from Xander in a Padres uniform before. We have not seen it last for the majority of a season. So hopefully that happens this year. Hopefully this is him launching off. And like Sammy was saying yesterday, him against the Yankees, it's getting back to his old roots of what he used to dominate as a Boston Red Sox player. Hopefully that can lead him into a reign of dominance here with the San Diego Padres. But I would love a show of hands from the text line, from anyone in this room. Do we expect that to happen? My answer is probably no on that one. Jackson Merrill coming back though. Him? Absolutely. I expect him to be an all-time great for the Padres for the next 10 years and to continue doing great stuff for the Pods. All right, coming up next, we do have long shots on the way. Now, last night, I'll take full blame for this one. Hashtag Faith in Sammy is still very much alive. Last night was all on me. I gave him the pick for Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook decided to go out and have himself a great night last night for the Nuggets. We'll see what Sammy has lined up for today. I'm staying out of this one. No vetoes, no suggestions. This is 100% Sammy tonight.
Russell Westbrook screwed us like he screwed the Lakers. He has not been a part of winning basketball forever. Now, I got to give him some credit for this year because
he was really good last night.
He was fantastic in the Clipper series. He was great last night. But again, we're going to play law of averages. We're going to see if Russ keeps this up.
Is Steph Curry involved in tonight's long shots?
Maybe. You have to tune in about 5 minutes.
That's next. San Diego Sports 760. Thanks, Big Rich. I'll take it from here. Download the free Prize Picks app today. Hey, it's Fletch for Prize Picks. When you download the app, use promo code Fletch because that's going to give you a $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. Marshall, give me a thumbs up if you have the Prize Picks app downloaded. Do you have the Prize Picks app downloaded? Did you use promo code Fletch? Good man. All right, you get that $50 bonus after you play your first $5 entry. We are going to give you a $5 entry to play coming up in about 2 minutes, so stay tuned for that. Today is a Taco Tuesday, so there are discounts hitting the board all day long here. They only stay active for about 45 minutes, so you got to keep your eye out. But on a Taco Tuesday, you'll get players like a Donovan Mitchell, who's going to be playing a little bit later tonight, discounted from his normal to about 5 points less than his normal. You could take advantage of it. I like to call those free spots on the bingo board. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use promo code Fletch. Take advantage of the promotions. Take advantage of the free $50 that you're going to get when you sign up with promo code Fletch and start running your game, no matter what your sport is. Baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, e-gaming. If you're all up on Call of Duty, Prize Picks has something for you. International women's tennis, of course, bring it on. Prize Picks is my favorite daily fantasy sports app that I've ever played. Tens of millions of active members, billions of dollars already awarded in winnings. About 4,500 of that is thanks to yours truly. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch and run your game all season long on Prize Picks. New lineup coming in 2 minutes. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John and Jim will take over then. Sammy, do you like Elton John?
Hell yeah, who doesn't?
Elton John is great, man. He, I saw him last year when he was at Petco Park, which was his farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, which was incredible. My wife and I went. It was what we thought was our last chance to ever see Elton John. Not true. Petco Park this Friday night. Elton John's going to be playing there right now on Instagram at Big Rich TD Fletch. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to that concert on Friday night to go see Elton John for what will probably be his final time playing at Petco Park. Can't recommend it enough. So on Instagram, go over, find Big Rich TD Fletch, and you can win a pair of tickets to go see Elton John. All right, last night we got very close. I got in the way. That one's on me. I said Russell Westbrook less than 11 points. Russell Westbrook went off for 18 points.
It's okay. I should have known to never trust Russell Westbrook.
I see. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And right away when I said it, Sammy was like, oh yeah, any chance I get to said a bad word on Russell Westbrook, that's what I'm gonna do. And so I thought that we were kind of on the same page there with Russ last night. It didn't work out in our favor.
I for some reason I blanked like when the game started. I'm like, he's playing his old team.
I still didn't think it would matter.
I was like, when it started, I was like, damn, he's gonna take a gazillion shots.
But when you have like Russ going off for, what did he have the game before? He had like 25 or something. He was like the best player on the Nuggets in the closeout game.
The Clippers would not guard him. They would not do it.
And he was making shots for the first time in years. So Russ goes off again last night and our prize picks failed. But today I got a good feeling. I'm stepping out of the way. No vetoes. 100% Sammy Long. Win us some money.
Let's see. Underdogs? Nah, that's old. Those with a less than good chance of winning? Too wordy. Wait. Got it. It's time for Sammy's long shots.
Real quick before we get going, we have a special thing today. Marshall is new to our San Diego Sports 760 family.
What up, Marshall? Jump on camera real quick. Yeah, let everybody see.
Marshall right here.
He's Marshall, so handsome, man.
Yeah.
God, finally another bald dude on this station.
He classes this up a lot, but so we're doing something special. You've heard him on John and Jim. So I'm doing my long shots right now. He's gonna hop on and do his at 145, and then
some Marsh shots.
We're gonna some Marsh shots, and then we're gonna compare who does better for tonight.
All right, I'm going 15 on each.
15 on each.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot of faith.
Where are we going?
All right, we're in the NBA tonight. This is a big 2 playoff game slate tonight. Indiana, Cleveland. Ben Mathurin. I think he is the key for Indiana to win this series. He is the guy coming off the bench. He was a top pick out of Arizona. He's got the length. He's got the shooting ability. Problem is with him and Rick Carlisle up there, they don't really give him consistent minutes, and it's kind of been the thing that's held Indiana back. Is it's really log jammed at his position with Tyrese Halliburton and all the great guards and Nembhard and them. Mathurin, for them to win the series, they need another lethal scoring threat, and Mathurin gives you more than Nembhard does or Nesmith and all these guys. Mathurin's got to play. I think they're going to come out early in this game, try to get a lead, but they might pack this in, knowing they already stole game one. So, but Ben Mathurin, more than 10 points tonight. I think he has a big performance after Tyrese Halliburton dominated in game one.
Benedict Mathurin, more than 10.5 points.
All right, now on the other side, Darius Garland, 8.5 points more, or 18.5 points more than he did not play in game one, and it really showed. They relied. He was hurt. They were relying too much on Ty Jerome, who had a really big series against the Bucks. And Donovan Mitchell shot 1 of 11 from 3. Even though he ended up scoring 29 points, they got to hit this 3-ball better because the Pacers can't hit shots. That is kind of the bread and butter for the Pacers. They got scores all over. Hell, their center, Miles Turner, shoots at a really good clip from 3. So I think Garland's going to have a big impact tonight. He's going to be playing. If Evan Mobley isn't playing, this is even better for the Darius Garland number. He's questionable tonight, or if he's banged up. 18.5 points, more than for Darius Garland. I think he's going to have a big performance.
Darius Garland, more than 18.5 points.
Is that your Steve Hartman announcing?
I think so. I like this.
Yeah, I like it. Slowly morphing. All right, now to the night game. Golden State, Minnesota. I'm really excited for this series because what's going to give? Is it the Golden State shooting? They got better shooters than the Lakers, but they have even less size than the Lakers had, and Minnesota really pushed the Lakers around through all 5 games of that. I think Dante DiVincenzo, more than 10.5 points. He's going to need to match this number. They are going to have to hit threes. The Lakers could not capitalize on the lack of threes that they've had in the series. For them to win the series, Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo have to be shooting at a really good clip. Anthony Edwards takes about 10 threes per game, and Dante DiVincenzo takes about 7. No one else on the team takes more than 4. DiVincenzo is going to have a bigger impact in the series because he won't have Rui Hachimura guarding him or Jared Vanderbilt. So more than 10.5 points for Dante DiVincenzo.
I said no vetoes. I want to veto one.
My last pick.
Dante DiVincenzo more than 10.5 points.
Last pick. Buddy Hield, 9.5 points, less than. This is a sucker bet.
What?
Buddy Hield had 33 points. And hats off to Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hield's on fire right now.
That's why Vegas loves people like you, because they saw what they saw in the last game and they go, oh, well, Buddy Hield's going to hit 10 points.
I like Mar's shots better.
But Buddy Hield, 9.5 points. He had 33. He was exceptional. He could not miss 11 of 13. Houston was not guarding him. He's going to be on the scouting report tonight. And Steph Curry also did not take a lot of shots the first half. I expect that to fully change. I think this is going to be a duel between Edwards and Curry tonight. And Butler's going to have to get a lot more involved because of the physicality of Minnesota. So, Buddy Hield, less than 9.5 points. If you like a different one, I'm not adding this to the thing. I like the Pajemski over tonight as well. So, to recap, I'm going to give you one veto, Fletch.
I know. I said I'm not vetoing.
Oh, you're not vetoing. That's fine. Okay. Ben Mathurin.
I'm going with the 4. I just don't like the 4.
Ben Mathurin, more than 10.5 points.
Benedict.
More than 10 points.
His name's Benedict.
That's his nickname.
Benedict.
Come on, you're a college basketball guy. You should know it's Ben Mathurin.
Dude, I know that people call him Ben Mathurin, but I'm saying people on Prize Picks, if you're looking, Benedict.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just like if I was on Prize Picks, Benjamin.
Benjamin.
See.
Darius Garland. 18,
Samuel.
18.5. Samuel. I like that. 18.5 points, more than. Buddy Hield, less than 9.5. And Dante DiVincenzo, more than 10.5 points.
Just for everyone out there, if I did have a veto, I would be vetoing the hell out of Dante DiVincenzo. And
I'm surprised you don't like that one.
I would be flipping to more than on Buddy Hield. Or I would just leave Buddy Hield off of this.
No.
And
Buddy Hield is not hitting his over.
Buddy Hield is so hot or cold. He's either going to miss this by 6 or 7 points, or he's going to smash it by 15 points.
Vegas wants you. The Prize Picks, they got suckers like you. They're going, Buddy Hield's going to hit this. He had 33. How could he not get 10 points? Buddy Hield's time is limited.
Yep.
Podziemski.
The Warriors need Buddy Hield. They need him to hit threes.
Podziemski did not shoot very much in Game 7. Curry did not shoot very much in Game 7. The entire supporting cast, Moses Moody, did not shoot very much. This is a regression game.
You know what? I'm switching it to more. If I lose, whatever. I'm switching it to more.
I can't wait.
And I'm switching Dante DiVincenzo to less.
I can't wait for Buddy Hield to hit the under tonight. And we're going to come in tomorrow. And maybe Marshall will have it as the over. We'll see.
I'm putting my screenshot up at Fletch Sports on my Instagram story. Sammy, I want you to do the same. That way we have proof. We have proof sitting on Instagram.
Yeah. Because I don't want to hear about how, oh, no, I didn't really flip it.
I want proof.
Fletch is the king. He'll text me while the games are going on. He'll be like, oh, well, no, actually, I hit the under there. I go, well, that's not a part of long shots. And you just, you keep them in, even though you say you're going to veto.
And I win.
Because you follow us.
San Diego Sports 760. I'm going to put my screenshot up at Fletch Sports on Instagram. I actually did notice while we were just talking, Sammy, I got a bunch of Instagram notifications, and that was from people, our listeners, going over to the Big Rich TD and Fletch post and commenting their name and neighborhood. So thank you for doing that. It's always nice. And why didn't you say it came from Fletch and Sammy? You know?
Might as well.
Let's throw a shot into the ego of Big Rich and Travis Dale.
Yeah, it's not just them.
No.
Even though we love them.
This is a whole ecosystem here. We make each other go. It's like, would an engine work if one piston was out? The answer is no. Sammy's a pretty big piston.
We got a really good text about James Harden I want to get into.
We're going to get that. There's also a great text about Xander Bogaerts will hit that. And our buddy Tyler on YouTube saying, I'm adding in Paul Skeens taco more than 4.5
I forgot.
strikeouts.
Okay, Tyler, shout out to that. I saw this text, but I forgot to enter it. It's Paul Skeens, more than 4.5 tacos. K's. That's very solid choice. If you want to add that.
I like this because we're going straight up, you and Marshall. No tacos, no discounts, no nothing.
That's why I didn't include it, Tyler, but I like the pick.
If you would like to follow along with me and Sammy on these, at Prize Picks on the app, download it to your phone, Google Play, App Store, doesn't matter. Use promo code Fletch. That's going to get you a free $50 so that when Sammy loses you $50, it was free $50 to begin with. Hey, San Diego Sports 760, hour number 2, which starts with Kevin Acee coming up next.
This report is sponsored by Robert Half. Padres in Game 2 against the Yankees in the Bronx. Michael King will be on the mound for the Pods, while Clark Schmidt will be going for the Yankees. The Yankees are currently minus 122 favorites, coming down from minus 120. And tonight in the NBA, the Warriors will have Game 1 in Minnesota. That game will get going at 6:30. Minnesota is currently favored by 6.5, with the point total set at 210.5. At Robert Half, they found that 67% of companies want to increase contract talent. That's why the recruiters' expertise in award-winning AI work quickly to find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, they know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John and Jim will take over then. And the best way to open up hour number 2 that I could possibly think of is with a man who writes about the San Diego Padres on a daily basis. Kevin Acee, our Padres insider from the Union Tribune. Kev, what's up, dude?
Hey, how are you? I'm at the Yankee Stadium, you know?
How's New York?
You know, it's great. It's great in small doses, and that's what you do when you cover sports and you come in. You come in, you leave.
How rainy was it really last night? Because it looked really rainy on TV.
It was, for parts of the game, as rainy as it looks on TV. Like the 4th inning, the 9th inning, it got pretty bad. But what Nick Pivetta more than anyone else had to do was really something. It was raining. I haven't seen a pitcher like put his hand inside of his pants to try to dry off his hand, because there was nowhere else. I mean, he was stoked.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. At times I was like, how the hell are they still allowing this game to continue? But of course, it's on the road. Padres were at the disadvantage, it seemed like, through the rainy parts. So it makes a little bit more sense. Now, Kevin, I started off the show today going on this big rampage about how last night was the perfect moment for Mike Shildt to step out of the dugout and go do what he did, get tossed by throwing the glasses and getting in the face and switching bubble gum with the umpire. Like, it was a pretty vintage League of Their Own moment for Mike Shildt to jump out and do that. But how big can that impact be down the line of what Mike Shildt did last night?
You know, I love when that happens, and I'm not going to poop all over you right there. But they won because they're the Padres, and this is how they play. Now, here's where I'll support what you're saying. I'm a big believer in, if the players believe it, no matter how stupid it is, if the players believe something, like that they have momentum, or that a manager getting into an argument with an umpire was like motivating, well, then that's what's important, not what I think or what anyone else thinks. But like, that was their first ejections of the season, and it was not their first win like that. So while it's super exciting, I think it's awesome. Like, Mike Shildt didn't tell Fernando Tatis Jr. to whisper sweet nothings into Adrian Johnson's ear. And then now, where you are spot on is Mike Shildt was waiting for that. Like, for innings, he had wanted a moment like that. So that's where I will tell you 100%, like you are onto something there. Like, he was increasingly all over Adrian Johnson. Everyone was. Heck, Boone was. I mean, like, the Yankees were. Like, his inconsistency was remarkable. Turns out his grade wasn't that bad, but like call a ball and a strike, and call the same pitch a strike or a ball all the time, or as close as you can. Certainly not as bad as he was. And so, like, that I'll give you. Like, yes, he was grateful for that moment, and it was the right moment, if that's what the Padres believe. But even then, and I wrote about it this morning, even then, they were sure to talk about, Tyler Wade and Brandon Lockridge had good at-bats and were on base already before that. And this was not the first time that the plucky Padres have, come back and had a win like that.
Do you think them playing the Yankees, there's anything more for them on this series, or is this just kind of another series in May?
In a way like how it's cool to win at Yankee Stadium and all that. Yeah. I mean, no one can come here and not feel the bigness of it, right? Like, it's New York City. You stay in Manhattan. The media is bigger and a tad bit more intense at times. You know that anything that happens here will make the highlight shows, right? Like if it's big, more likely to make the highlight shows. You know that it'll be all over the 2 New York, sports stations, and will catch the eye of the national media because it's happening on the East Coast and it's happening in what New Yorkers think is the center of the universe, and largely is the center of the media universe. So yeah, it's bigger, but it's not like bigger.
Kevin AC, Union Tribune, joining us today here on San Diego Sports 760. He's our Padres insider with us all season long. Kev, pretty big news that Jackson Merrill most likely is going to be rejoining the team tonight in the lineup. Now, Jackson Merrill is a superstar with this Padres team. From what he did to his rookie season to how he started this year, we'll see if there's any sort of hangover from this time off he's had. But how does the clubhouse feel about Jackson Merrill making his return? Is there a sense that everyone's a little bit more excited with the kid coming back?
Absolutely, because it takes some, not that like they shirk from pressure or anything, but so maybe like taking pressure off isn't the right term. I'm not using the right term maybe, but like it spreads out the wealth. It is a impact bat. It helps out the guys around him. It means that there's another guy who can get the RBI hit. It's another guy who can put pressure on the opposing pitcher. Their lineup is back to full strength. And yes, they do love to play with Jackson. He does bring energy, and he is a good player and he is a good guy, and everyone's excited. Now, here's the thing: they've won 6 in a row. They're 12 games over 500. It is like the perfect time. It's not one of those like, oh, thank goodness he's coming back. Oh my gosh, man, I hope he's playing well or he plays well right away because we really need him. Like they need him, but like, they're playing really well. And so, like, it's a good time for the Padres.
Kevin, in your opinion, what player on this team has been the most unheralded that we need to be paying more attention to?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, we've been talking about Tatis, so that takes him out, right? Robert Suarez? Manny Machado? I mean, would you consider Manny in the whole unheralded part, or does he always get so much scrutiny that he can't be? I feel like he's had some big hits, even though his numbers until the last 4 or 5 games where he rose up, near 300 and over 800 OPS and, finally got his 3rd homer, which ties him with Luis Arraez, which is nice. I felt like he was having a decent season, even though the numbers were down. But Robert Suarez and Jeremiah Estrada, Jason Adam, the bullpen, is that a fair answer? I'm not trying to cop out on you. I just feel
I like that. Yeah,
it's been huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer for me, Kev, is probably Luis Arraez. The bullpen has the best ERA in baseball. I feel like that's plenty heralded. But Luis Arraez, what was the one difference between the Padres who got out to a red hot start and the Padres who went 3-8 for a little bit? It was Luis Arraez in the lineup or not in the lineup.
Yeah, very good, very good. I've sort of pointed that out before, so I'm a little disappointed in myself. But I'm really, really glad that if we're going single player and unheralded, and I think it really fits the bill. Even though he does get a lot of attention, it's like there's just, I think I was telling John Jim this the other day. I think that's where I was talking about it. That I don't know if it's full circle. I was excited to watch this guy play and thought he could bring something to the Padres, but I was like, all right, I kind of understand this whole especially the way he played last year. Hurt, by the way, but also on base was down. There's 0 slug whatsoever, and okay, so he hits 313. Okay, I mean whatever. But it's over 300 when he's right and drawn some walks, and he is also a 350 to 380 on base percentage guy. Throw in some doubles, triples. He's got 3 home runs. I mean, we're talking about a 7-something OPS guy with that big on-base percentage, plus the energy, man, and the ability to just if you need a hit, kind of might be the guy you want to send up there. If you just need a single, right? Anywhere on the field, that might be the guy. So I love this guy. I don't know that he's worth 20 mil, right? He's a free agent coming up. I don't know what he's worth. I don't know that. But I just think he's so valuable, especially on a team like this, where he's one more weapon. I think he's huge on this team.
And what's funny to me, Kev, is when you read like an ESPN preview of this series, and by the way, Kevin Acey is the destination for Padres information, but I do read ESPN's previews of their series as well. They're talking about Aaron Judge, and now he's off to this historic pace, and there's only 4 players ever who have had better starts to a season than Aaron Judge this year in terms of batting average. Luis Arraez in 2023 is one of those players. Like, he is that good.
Yeah, he is that good. Now let's, and I know you're not saying this, but like, let's all rise here. I mean,
oh, come on.
Amazing.
You're an Aaron Judge fan.
Amazing.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm a fan of great players. Like I'm thrilled to be here to watch Aaron Judge's at bats. I am absolutely. I don't root for anybody, but I'm a fan of what the Padres did last night. Like I love that. That's exactly. You are correct. I am a fan of great players and great games.
Kevin, Dylan C starting tomorrow. Do you think this is a big start for him?
Yeah.
When do we start getting concerned?
Didn't you ask me that last start, Sam?
Yes, and it hasn't gotten better.
Legitimate both times. Completely legitimate both times. Yeah, and they just keep getting increasingly big, right? I mean, last start was big. You could say the start before that was, and then this one, and then if he doesn't, maybe even if he does have a good one, maybe, okay, are you consistent, Dylan Cease, now? Right? Like, absolutely. I think it's a big start for him. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. He's not being optioned, like Kyle Hart or something. But it is a big start for the Padres to sort of be like, oh, okay. And for, by the way, for Dylan Cease to take a little exhale and be like, okay, all right, I found it. And there were signs he did last game. So at this point, that's all you can say, okay, that's cool. That's good. But at some point, and that's soon, it needs to be more than signs.
We know baseball is a game of trends, Kevin. I think you take the season
Indeed.
in 20 game chunks or whatever, and you kind of look at the stats. Well, one stat that I've noticed this year has been a trend so far this season is Manny Machado is a lot more cussy in his post-game interviews, whether it's with you or with anybody in the locker room. Have you noticed an uptick in F-bombs from Manny Machado? Or have you just noticed?
Excited, but he's always been.
No, I know. Kev, here. Have you noticed an uptick in Manny's cussing, or have you noticed an uptick in you writing Manny's cussing?
Now, here's the deal on that. I'm pretty sure, I do. If it's extraneous, I will take it out sometimes. Like I won't put the expletive in there, right? The parentheses expletive. When it is a part of an expression, like where the guy is, I don't know if you ever saw the movie a long time ago where this guy argued that the a-hole word was absolutely imperative and it was admissible in court, even though it was inappropriate language for a courtroom, because like what it expressed. Sometimes I feel that way about the F word. Now, I'm not condoning it or condemning it. I'm just saying that sometimes you've got to include the F word in there because everyone knows the F word, right? You've got to include it in there because it was another adjective of how excited he was.
I wish we could cuss on this show. I'm all for that, Kevin.
Would it be against your journalistic integrity to start just replacing Manny's F-bombs with something else?
Like another word? Do you have a suggestion? Because I imagine you do.
Like it was so...
bodacious.
Sure. It was so fire trucking. Great, man. Like what he said last night. Like it was so... I don't know. I would
love that. I really would. And like I argued a long time ago, I get into modes where maybe my language, I consider cussing kind of lazy. I should probably be better at words, but I can get as lazy as anyone. But I try not to, right? But I argued a long time ago that we should be able to put the word ass in the paper because it's not that bad of a word and people say it and, it has a different connotation than but, B-U-T-T. And I argued that. And I think I can now put that word in there. But I can't put other words in there. It's simply newspapers are a little old school, and I kind of like that. So, no, I pretty much need to keep going with expletive.
All right. Well, maybe we can get to a point where Don and Mud can go full rated R broadcast. I would like that a lot. I think that'd be great.
Fantastic.
Kev, appreciate your time, man. You're the absolute best. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah.
All right, there he goes, Kevin Acey of the San Diego Union Tribune.
Acey on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
Kevin Acey should open an OnlyFans. An OnlyFans where he could subscribe, not for pictures. No one wants to see that wrinkly old butt, but he could. We could subscribe to Kevin Acey's fully unfiltered write-ups of the Padres game.
You know what I loved about that interview is, Kevin breaking down the Padres beautifully as he always does, and then it developed in him cussing, and then we're gonna close it out with Kevin Acey should start an OnlyFans. You heard it here first on the Fletch Zone.
I'm going to bring it up to Kevin next week. I might text him that right now. I think that's the first thing we cover with Kevin next week. Look, that's another avenue of financial freedom for Kevin Acey.
Listen, I know a lot of people would sign up. I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying it's there.
He charges $10 a month when he can write whatever he wants about the San Diego Padres, not just what is allowed in traditional print newspaper. I think that's the way to go. Sammy, maybe you should open an OnlyFans. Not for pictures. Again, nobody wants to see that. All right, I think we need to take a break.
That's the narrative of this show today.
We need to
telling people they should start OnlyFans.
You know what, Marshall? If you haven't thought about it yet, I don't know how much you know about radio. Financially,
Marshall's
not the
been
best.
cooking some picks for 145 right now. He's been in the lab in here.
All right, Marshall's going to make his debut on this show coming up at 145 today. We're giving him Marsh shots for the day. It is San Diego Sports 760, and right now we are giving away some tickets. I told you right after Kevin got off the air we would give them away. Now is that time. A pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Billy Strings, Sierra Hull, all live at the North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on May 15th. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com or be caller number 7 right now at 877-767-4760. And when Sammy answers the phone, make sure you yell, "Hey, Marshall," because he's sitting right next to him. It's San Diego Sports 760. We'll be right back. Download Prize Picks today. Use promo code Fletch when you do. You're going to get a $50 bonus, $50 bonus when you play your first $5 entry. Today is Taco Tuesday. A little bit earlier, Paul Skeens, the pitcher for the Pirates, he was discounted to 4.5 strikeouts off of his normal 6. That's what Taco Tuesday does for you. It opens up some free spots on the bingo board for you to create lineups of 2 to 6 players with their stat projections. One of those players is going to be a little bit discounted on a Taco Tuesday. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get the $50 bonus and start cooking with a $5 lineup to get you a $50 bonus. The lineup that Sammy has going today, let's take a look and see what it is all involving basketball. Benedict Mathurin, more than 10 points. Darius Garland, more than 18.5 points. Dante DiVincenzo, more than 10.5 points. And Buddy Hield, less than 9.5 points. You do that, I got $15 on it. That's going to win me $150. Do that with Prize Picks. Marshall is going to give us a lineup coming up at 145 today to rival Sammy's. This is what I love about it. It's guys sitting at a bar, ordering some chicken wings, maybe a couple beers, talking about which players are going off, which players aren't. That's what you can do on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use promo code Fletch. Get that $50 bonus. Take advantage of a Taco Tuesday today. San Diego Sports 760, and we got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday with the bonus bucks giveaway every hour from 6 to 6. Listen for the keyword, enter it at sportssd.com for your chance to win. Your next opportunity coming up at 2 o'clock, right before John and Jim. Take the keyword to sportssd.com. You have a chance at putting $1,000 straight into your pocket. Text line has popped off here over the last 20 minutes or so while we were chatting with Kevin Acey from the 619. This one a little bit earlier. Is today's show recording? You guys are burying Bogarts, and last week he's been coming around after coming off a couple years of injuries. You guys need to chill. And we kind of explained our thought process behind that, Sammy. We're
expecting him to do this.
He's been good for a week, but we need to see that over a month. 619 says, if this is Flowers, I would hate to see you bury a guy. 858 responds and says, it is Xander prove it time for sure. People nowadays think any criticism/skepticism is hate. Also, we got Paul Skeens 4.5 strikeouts taco today. Thank you for the gambling advice. But I think that first part is for real. Look, nobody wants Xander to do better than me and Sammy. I think that's accurate. I want Xander to be an all-star by the time that comes around, because that means the Padres are going to be in a better position. What I'm fearful of is that this is a good week and everyone's going to start feeling real good about Xander Bogaerts. And then Xander Bogaerts is going to go back to being the only thing he's been since he's been a San Diego Padre, which is disappointing. And if that sounds harsh, I'm sorry, but that's the fact.
Well, I mean, it's fair to expect more for the city. It's fair to be tough on the teams. It's not they're all just going to sing, again, kumbaya together and tell everyone that everything's great. Like when it's not, we're going to say it. And Xander Bogaerts, it's great what he's done in the last week, but this is what he's been expected to do, and he hasn't been doing it. So we're not going to throw him a parade because he actually finally lives up to his contract for a week out of the season.
All right, our guy Handyman Matt is on the text line today, and I'm not.
Handyman Matt. I mean, I gotta give him some credit, man. Every day comes up with something new, something filthy that I almost just read the latest text on the air, and then I was like, probably get fired.
Yeah, Handyman Matt, I'd love to, man. Really, this is one of my favorite texts we've ever got. I don't think there's any way for me to do it. That's going to be on onlyfletch.com. Kevin Acey's going to open an OnlyFans. I'm going to open an OnlyFans. All right. It's going to be $20 a month. Only one person's going to subscribe, and it's going to be great.
Marshall just said finding Fletch.
That's not bad, but onlyfletch.com already exists. Travis Dale made it at one point. I don't know if he's paid to keep it up.
That's alarming that he spent that much time making that.
He spent time and money, like financial money from his pocket to own the domain name. Yeah. Let's see, 619, this is an NBA text. Team, I wasn't able to text yesterday, but I felt like I needed to follow up on one of the easier predictions I've ever made, the failure of James Harden in the postseason. Harden's collapse in Game 7 is as predictable as traffic on the 163 merge downtown. What's hard to understand is how well-paid and seemingly smart general managers continue to pay him max contracts, knowing he has failed to produce for the last 4 teams he's played for and thinking he's going to make a difference.
Yep.
I will say the Clippers aren't in the position of a Game 7 without James Harden. Fair to say?
Yeah, but I agree with 619.
He did fail in the Game 7, but he played pretty well for the Clippers down the stretch. He played pretty well in the first 6 games for the Clippers.
He didn't play well in the Game 7. And that's what's plagued this team. When he was in Philly, they got Boston to a Game 7, and he was an abomination. Him and Joel Embiid were a disaster. We don't pay you to get to a Game 7. We pay you to win the series. He had a good season, but this is where the Clippers are just stuck and stagnant. We hear the team president talking about how we're bringing the entire team back. Why? What about?
Can you bring the entire team back and add Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Without, blowing up the entire team. That means Powell's gone. That means Zubac's gone. That means everyone's gone. I mean, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Kawhi Leonard, the chances that he's healthy going into the postseason next year, not great. James Harden, we know what he is. He does not produce in the postseason. I'm sorry. It's his whole entire career, whether he's been in Houston, Oklahoma City, Philly, or in LA. It's the same thing. I don't get it. I think they need to move off James Harden. Frankly, if they're the other part of this is Ballmer wants to sell tickets. They got a brand new arena, and getting rid of James Harden and Kawhi Leonard means less season tickets in there. But they'd be better to build around Norman Powell and some young superstars. Oh, they had a young superstar, but they traded him to the Thunder, and his name's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
That is the wildest thing ever. That part of that Paul George trade was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
And for Paul George, for another guy, James Harden again, who has not produced in the postseason.
Except Paul George is just more injury prone, which the Clippers found that out too.
Right. I mean, I don't know what the Clippers deal is with getting injury prone players. They feel like they're stuck in neutral.
It's rough because the Clippers, for sure, at least if you live in San Diego, the Clippers are so much more rootable for than the Lakers are. Like if you're somebody who are not you, Sammy, but if you're like driving on the 8 every day to work, I feel like it's a lot easier for you to root for the Clippers, knowing their history in SD and knowing that the Kawhi Leonard is there. Like it's a much easier team. I hope the Clippers win all the way this year. I really did, because I wanted a team to root for in this postseason. Now I'm stuck rooting for the Warriors, who I rooted for when I was 10 years old.
Clippers and going all the way. Those two things
For
don't go
sure.
together.
But I think that's something that a lot of San Diegans were rooting for this year. Sammy is the point, and it's like they cannot get out of their own way as being number 2. And Ballmer desperately wants to be not that. And that's
they're the little brother in their own city. They had to build an entire arena.
Are they equivalent to the Chargers, or are they a step above the Chargers in LA?
They're down there. The Chargers are probably bigger because it's the NFL in terms of, I think the Charger thing is interesting because, and this is, topic for another day, but obviously everyone has the right in San Diego to go screw them. They're dead to me. Why you left? We're done. I think the Chargers have a unique thing where young kids maybe who have grown up even in San Diego and in LA might not have had the same kind of watch them in San Diego for 50 years and might not have the same hate. Whereas if you're a kid and you're living in LA or San Diego and you're going, I want to root for a basketball team. Do I want to root for Kawhi Leonard, who's literally hurt all the time, and old James Harden, or Luka Doncic in the Lakers?
It's tricky, man. And I will say I was nervous about the kids being born in LA these days, who they're going to root for. Like, is this going to be a new generation of Charger fans? I got a young nephew who lives up in LA. His dad, diehard Vikings fan. He moved here from Minnesota. He is a diehard Rams fan. He's 10 years old now. Loves the Rams.
Well, that's what's so sad is the Chargers, San Diego.
Everyone in his school loves the Rams. Like, I think that kids being born in LA right now are Rams fans.
Well, the craziest thing in LA is the Rams aren't even the most popular NFL team in that city.
No, Raiders are.
The Raiders. So the Chargers are third. That's what's such a bummer about the fact that they moved away, is San Diego took care of them. San Diego cared about them. San Diego wanted them here and treated them very well.
I think most San Diegans would take him back minus one person.
Yeah. Hey, if Dean could just, go away.
Minus one name. Anybody attached to that name gone? Yeah, bring him back.
Well, it's unfair because you get in.
It's never going to happen.
It's never going to happen. But the critics used to go, "Oh, the stadium sucked." It's like, or people didn't show up to games. It's like,
do something about it.
It's like,
frick, man.
Qualcomm did not.
Who else's stadium sucked? Buffalo's. Guess what? They're building a new one.
Qualcomm did not have concessions on the third level. And you're telling me that I'm going to spend a bunch of money
there
to
was
go
damn
there?
Concrete falling off the place.
It's
we
embarrassing.
Got to get out of here. Coming up next, we'll preview the NBA games tonight. Still to come on the show today. If you are done with long shots, if you're sick of failing every single day, Marsh Shots coming up at 1:45. Our boy Marshall is going to give you the news. That's next. San Diego Sports 760.
This report is sponsored by Paint Care in the NHL playoffs tonight. The Hurricanes and Capitals game 1. That'll be in Washington. That'll get going at 4 o'clock in the first game of the Oilers and Golden Knights, which is currently a series that is a pick'em minus 110 down the middle. That'll get going at 6:30 from Vegas. In the marquee game in the NBA tonight, the Warriors will be in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. Timberwolves are favored by 6.5 with the point total set at 210.5. That game will get going at 6:30. They know that leftover paint in your garbage is clutter. Make more room for your collections of trading cards and comics. Take the leftover paint to a Paint Care drop-off site. Make more room in your garage and help the planet. Learn more at paintcare.org.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We have huge breaking news, Sammy. Huge breaking news here. How much money do you have at your disposal right now? We can go liquid. We can go purchase something big.
How much money do we have?
Yeah, we need something right now.
Is this gambling?
No, we need it instantly. We need money. Ahora. That means now. Mas rapido.
What are we doing here?
Well, for $2.5 million, Sammy, we could own an entire town in Montana.
You know, maybe this is like a Fletch Zone community. Maybe every one of our listeners wants to chip in here. We'll all go in together. We'll all run the town.
Well, we need to like limit it to maybe. I feel like I'd be 100 people would be good. Town. I think you would too. I think you'd be really great.
I'd be no nonsense. Like if you threw litter on the street,
like I'll be the mayor, you be assistant mayor, and then you do all the work, and I just take all the credit. That sounds
you're too nice to be the mayor. You have to lay the law down.
I'll be good cop, you be bad cop. The place comes with a functioning U.S. post office. It has its own zip code. 3 Amish built log cabins. Okay, we need to build up a little bit. There is a duplex. A short-term rental income is already rolling in. See, it's already paying for itself.
How many bars are in the town already?
0 as of now.
See, that's a problem. That's what we're going to get. Hopefully we got some bartenders listening right now. We know the fire department's listening.
Dude, I got my guy Jay. My guy Jay at Keg and Bottle. We could just bring him along.
We'll bring him along. We could. The problem is you got to live in Montana.
That's not a problem. It's beautiful. It's a problem for about 6 months.
I'm a city kid. I'm not really into the whole like go look at.
So it's called Prairie, Montana. It's its own zip code. It has a bunch of acres. There's an annual town parade that you are responsible for throwing if you buy this town.
That's getting ended.
There's nearby access to Yellowstone River, luxury fly fishing resort, and it's also the home for Hollywood's go-to Western film set.
Yeah,
we should do it.
I'd be upcharging Hollywood. Definitely build a casino, some bars. We get it running.
We'd get it running, man.
Fly fishing's over.
What?
I don't have time for all that to be,
Okay, you run the town. I'll go fly fishing and stuff.
Some of us are doing the important things.
All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Sammy and I are daydreaming a little bit about our new town that we're going to buy out in Montana. We could build a radio station there, still broadcast in San Diego, and just live in our town.
We could have listeners just do a show every day. Different listeners.
That's great. Yeah, Marshall, you're in charge of day one. That sounds good to me. All right, Padres from last night. That was great, but it's in the rearview mirror. Today they play, I believe, same time, 4:30 first pitch, 4:40 first pitch.
4 o'clock.
Back in New York. We'll see if Rain has any thoughts on today's game. I cannot believe in the 4th inning last night that game did not get rained out. Honestly, Nick Pavetta's up on the mound, struggling to even, like Kevin Acey was saying, literally putting his hand down his pants, which is fun to do like in a radio job, but in baseball, it's not something you see every day. And so Nick Pivetta somehow kind of guts through it, only gives up 4. Padres come back to win. Lots of fireworks with Mike Schilt coming out of the dugout, getting tossed from the game. Very fun night out at Yankee Stadium last night. We will see what tonight has in store. But Sammy, the NBA schedule for tonight, if you will.
So we got Indiana in Cleveland, game 2. This is a must win for Cleveland. Cleveland needs to win this game. They should win the game, but Evan Mobley is questionable. Pacers obviously went in there and stole game 1, looked really good. And then the night game, that series starting Minnesota hosting Golden State. That one's going to be fun because we're kind of talking about it earlier. The Warriors, they play small ball. They kind of invented small ball. That was their thing. They're always basically through the whole dynasty. They're always the smaller team.
Well, they came up with the kill lineup.
The kill lineup that team just can't match up. It's going to be interesting to see. Rudy Gobert will determine where this series is won and lost. If Rudy Gobert has a big offensive series because no one can guard him and Draymond's too busy, Draymond's too small for him, Minnesota probably wins the series. If the Warriors are hitting shots and they are forced to take Rudy Gobert out of the game because he can't get out there and defend, something the Lakers were not able to take advantage of, this could be problems. I think this series is going to be a lot of blowouts. I think that when the Golden State shots are falling, it's gonna be big for Golden State, and when it's not, Minnesota's too big for them.
When I coughed just now, I thought my microphone was off. I do apologize to everybody out there. But there's also an added level of contention between these two teams, the Warriors and the Timberwolves, because of what happened in the pre-draft process of Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, who now is a superstar of this league, people talk about him as the potential face of the NBA. I think the NBA would be in pretty good hands if it went over to Anthony Edwards. I think he's a through and through superstar who plays the game a little bit differently. He plays with really toughness and defense first, and he's also a ridiculously skilled offensive player. But Steve Kerr might be responsible for that because of something Steve Kerr told Anthony Edwards in the pre-draft process, where he said, look, if we have the first overall pick, we're not taking you. Am I messing that up, Sammy? That's the story.
They did. And
Anthony Edwards responded by saying that turned me into a madman in my training. That turned me into the player I am today because of that chip that Steve Kerr put on his shoulder.
Because they got James Wiseman with it. Question for the text line 70470. Start your message with team and you, Fletch. If Anthony Edwards wins this series and he's taken out Durant last year, LeBron this year, and Steph Curry, does he become the face of the NBA? It's
Not
a tough
yet.
question. Not
because
yet.
Those guys still exist. There's still LeBron James. There's still Steph Curry. There's still Kevin Durant, who currently are at the top of the mountain. He's getting close, though, man. And once those guys all retire, we'll see if LeBron comes back next year. He still may not, right? If LeBron doesn't come back,
we don't know and all this stuff. So.
Man, he's the Aaron Rodgers of the NBA.
But it's odd because you think of in terms of the young players, Anthony Edwards he's got the $1 million smile. He's in a bunch of ads. He talks. He's kind of got the MJ thing going on.
He'll jump up on the scores table and tell everyone how much more well endowed he is than them.
Yes, that did happen against the Lakers. Luka is still there. I don't care that they just went out. Luka, when he gets a team around him, is one of the faces of the NBA.
Unless he's fat.
It's interesting how he's been fat and he's still one of the best players in the NBA. So I think when we get on that keto diet, when we're locked in the lab all
drinking green juice in LA.
Yeah, he's gonna get on that Beverly Hills diet. He's gonna be just fine. But it's funny how Jason Tatum is like a young American superstar and never gets talked about.
Not likable.
You don't like Jason Tatum?
No, I don't think he's likable.
I mean, he's a likable guy, but it's weird.
Everything is so forced with Jason Tatum. Even that moment where he tried to redo the KG thing, the Kevin Garnett thing, where anything is possible last year, that was so lame. God, it was lame. It reeked of inauthenticity.
I mean, it's weird because he seems like a really nice guy, but when you think of
I got about 5 minutes into that HBO documentary about the Celtics and I turned it off.
Oh, that made me throw up. I couldn't watch it.
It was terrible. And it was about their team last year, and it was about Jason Tatum and how everybody hates on him and how he got left off the bench or on the bench during the Team USA run. Jason Tatum is not likable enough, and I don't know what it is.
But I don't think
Anthony Edwards has.
I think it's that he's likable, but it's not. MJ, face of the league, killer. Kobe, killer. LeBron, for what do you want to say about him? Killer. Like stop. LeBron James is a killer. You need to stop with that. LeBron James is not soft. You tripped on an acorn. We're not calling people soft.
Hey, I'm not LeBron James.
Yeah. Well, okay. LeBron James has won 4 NBA championships. So we need to put a little respect on his name.
How many has he lost?
Jason Tatum is like a nice guy. And it's weird from the NBA in terms of marketability. It's more like who is a killer. It'll be interesting to see after these playoffs if one of these guys becomes the next young face of the NBA superstar.
Here's the quotes from Anthony Edwards about Steve Kerr. I thought I was working hard. And when Steve Kerr came up to me, I was going through drills and he kept stopping them saying, that's all you got. That's all you got. And then eventually we know how the draft went. Warriors did end up taking Wiseman. Is he on the Warriors anymore? The answer is
Wiseman's terrible.
And he was terrible. A total bust. Steve Kerr probably kicks himself at night thinking that he could have drafted it.
Is this the last shot for the Warriors?
I think so. I think Steph is pretty close to being done.
Yeah, well, I think Steph will keep playing, but Jimmy's older. Draymond's older. Draymond at some point.
I think Steph will keep playing, but I think he's about ready for his victory lap where he gets to go have the Kobe Bryant treatment on his final year. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we're getting pretty close to that era of the Golden State Warriors.
I just think the young talent on the Warriors, you're not going to be able to pay all these guys.
No.
And with Butler there, Butler's only getting older. This is an interesting matchup because it really is the size versus not. And, I mean, if you're the Warriors, then you're praying that the Nuggets get past Oklahoma City. Because that's also surprising about last night. Oklahoma City, number 1 defense in the league, and you can't close out a game.
Couldn't guard Jokic.
This is what we're going into. They blew so many teams out during the regular season. Then you get into the fourth quarter where it's a 2-point ball game, and you don't know what to do. There's something to be said for that. You need some adversity, and they better win game 2.
Last night provided some adversity for OKC. We'll see how they respond. I thought that they were going to roll through Denver. Denver, who even at times during the Clippers series looked a little bit lost, and they kind of put it all together last night, especially in the fourth quarter. All right, take our final break of the day. When we come back, we got Marshall sitting in today. Marshall's been doing some training here at San Diego Sports 760. Marshall's getting ready. He's doing a lot with SDFC, but Marshall is jumping on the mic. We are getting our first ever Marsh shots to compete with long shots. So if you're sick of Sammy losing you money, Marshall's about to make you some. Coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time here today on the Fletch Zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John and Jim take over then. And right now, Big Marsh on the mic. We had to bring in some competition. All right. Sammy's been letting us down the last week and a half. Anything to say for yourself, Sammy, before we get to Big Marsh?
I'm excited. We'll always have opportunities to make money. Marshawn, I'm excited for you.
Marshawn?
Giving
Who the
back.
hell's Marshawn?
Huh?
You said Marshawn.
Oh, I said Marshawn on the mic. That's his Instagram.
Right on. But Big Marsh is in studio. So Marsh, where are you from?
I'm from San Diego.
San Diego, California. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Who are your teams?
San Diego Chargers, since they're not here. So team like the NFL, Chargers, Padres, and the Lake Show. Shout out Sammy.
Yes, so actually, I finally have some Laker fans around here.
There's one of them at least. Burritos or tacos?
Burritos.
Good man. What's your burrito shop in San Diego?
Surf and Turf from Burros and Fries.
I like it. Okay. Beach or lake?
Beach.
Spoken like a true San Diegan right there.
That's right.
Cocktails or beer?
Brewskis.
Brewskis. What's your beer?
Just depends. If I'm at a Padre game, the 394.
Good man.
Other than that, Rona's, Blue Moon.
I like it. All right, Marshall's doing some work with San Diego Sports 760 now. We're damn glad to have you, Marsh.
Thank you.
And what's your social media to shout it out so people can follow you?
Marshall on the mic, Instagram and Twitter. MarshonThemic.
Marsh on the mic. And so right now we're doing Marsh shots for the first time ever. Because Sammy's got a week and a half of a little bit of a dry spell.
And
maybe
you
Marshall
cost us because you told Russell Westbrook under.
Maybe Marshall is our slump buster.
Yeah.
And that's what we need right now.
All right, Marshall, what we got tonight?
Okay.
Slump bust away, my friend.
So here we go. I went to Chat GPT, right? I call it Skynet. And this is what Skynet says, right? Four picks. Here we go from Prize Picks. I got Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers over 28.5 points and assists.
Okay.
Second one, I have Donovan Mitchell of the Cavaliers going under 3.5 3-pointers made.
Oh, continuing the trend. Okay.
What was he like? 1 for 11 the other night?
1 for 11. Yep.
And 1 for 11. Yes. And the other night, number 3, Jimmy Butler of the Warriors under 22.5 points facing a tough Minnesota defense.
Jay McDaniel's going to be on him all night. I like that.
And the last one is Aaron Nesmith of the Pacers over 1.5 3-pointers made.
Damn, I like those picks.
So that's what Skynet said, right?
Wait, so this isn't even Marshall?
This is
Skynet. This is Skynet. This is Skynet. No, this is mine. Here's mine.
This is the one we want.
This is the one you want. Here we go. I had to ask Skynet first. So here we go. Mine, the one I did myself, Tyrese Halliburton, more than 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
Okay, so added the rebounds in there.
Okay. Second one, this is mine. Steph Curry, more than 26.5 points.
Okay.
The third one, Anthony Edwards, less than 28 points.
Oh, okay.
And then the last one,
I actually really dig that.
Julius Randle, less than 20 points.
So you think the Timberwolves are getting blown out tonight?
No, I did not say that. I just think it's not going to be. I think it's going to be a tougher match for game one with both teams.
I like this a lot.
So I like this.
Julius Randle, less than 20.
Yeah,
I think that's accurate. I like Ant-Man, Kingslayer, maybe to go less than, what was it?
That's a 28. Big number. 28 is a big number.
Steph Curry's going to go off. He struggled in the last game until the fourth quarter. He keeps the momentum going, 26.5 points more. And Tyrese Halliburton, who's a stud, man. I'm a big fan of Tyrese Halliburton. What was I have points and assists on here. What'd you have?
I had points, rebounds, and assists more than 33.5.
All right, so we're going to need a punishment for who has worse selections.
Burrito bet, always.
I'm down with the burrito bet.
All right, we'll do a burrito bet. I was thinking more like sing a song on the radio, but that's just me.
Well, I can do that. So my go-to for karaoke is Purple Rain or Rhythm of the Night, El DeBarge. So whatever you want me to do. So
Marshall can sing.
Sammy had to sing My Hero by Enrique Iglesias the other day.
It was beautiful.
You did a full send. I was proud of it.
I didn't say I could sing, though, Sammy.
Purple Rain's an aggressive choice. You can sing if you got purple. If that's the go-to karaoke song,
the go-to one. I am at a high level. Purple Rain.
Fletch, do you have a karaoke song?
Anything by Dirk Bentley. 5150 is a good one.
Do you do like a twang and kind of get after it?
Just do my normal voice, but Dirk Bentley is my inner spirit animal. All right, Marshall, before we let you get out of here, before we run for the day, you're also crazy involved with the community. You got a Madison baseball shirt on right now. What's going on over there?
Absolutely. So at the Madhouse today is the senior night for the seniors for the baseball team as they battle against the Mira Mesa Marauders at Madison High School. So I want to give a quick shout out and some love to the Madison Warhawks, the seniors class of 2025, and the rest of the baseball team. playing against Mary Mason Marauders today.
And if
out at the
someone
Madhouse.
was to go to that game, would they perhaps hear Marsh on the mic?
Yes, you will hear me once I leave here on the mic and doing all the senior night festivities. And one of my little buddies, Jacob Trevino, is recovering, had a situation. Want to shout him out real quick, and all the seniors for the class of 2025.
Hell yeah. Okay.
That's awesome, man. I'm stoked to find people who work in the community, who live in the community, and you're doing stuff with local baseball programs. That's great. Your kid goes to Madison?
Correct.
Is he on the baseball team?
Yes. He just hit almost hit a game-winning walk-off grand slam. He hit the 6 inches from the top of the fence, but he walked it off yesterday in the JV
Hey,
game.
there
That's
you go.
awesome.
Shout out Tank Thomas as well.
Tank Thomas, look at that. And so your kid watches Padres a lot, I guess?
Absolutely.
Who's his favorite player?
Tatis.
Everyone's is, man.
Well, he plays right field, so
Dude,
that's why.
I wanted to ask the text line this earlier. Maybe we'll save it for tomorrow, but 70470, just light up John and Jim's text line with a bunch of cuss words. What did Tatis say to the ref last night?
Yeah. And don't
He
give
leaned in and
context on the text. I want Jim's face to come in here and be like, "What's going on? What were you guys talking about earlier?"
He leaned into the ump, and it was away from any camera. He was smart about it. I think there was a go after yourself in there. I really do.
Well, I have a theory. I think he, after he had that bad call, he went over to the ump, and this is shout out to John and Jim, and said, "How is your bad calls as an umpire affecting LeBron James' legacy?" And the ump ran him for that.
He was terrible last night, man. But I want to know what Fernando Tatis said, because when Kevin Acee asked him about it after the game, Tatis just said, "Oh, what I said, I forgot." And that's the classy thing for Tatis to do. I want to know.
This is a discussion for another day because we have 1 minute left.
Give me that R-rated baseball.
I get so tired of refs acting like martyrs and umps and things. I'm like, you chose to do this. You chose to be an ump and be a ref in the National Basketball League, or you can't hear a little criticism coming back the other way. Drives me nuts.
I love that moment from Tatis and from Mike Schilt last night. Give these guys some business, man, when they're sucking at their job. Look, if Xander Bogaerts is bad at his job, Sammy and I are there to hold him accountable, right?
Exactly.
Who's there for the refs?
Text line is trying to get me to say something in Spanish that I don't think I can say on the radio.
It's a risk, man, especially if it comes from the 484. Do not say it. All right, that's it for us today. John and Jim are coming up next. Another chance for you to win a pair of tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival with them. Marsh, thank you for being here today, man.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you for
Marshall.
everything you're doing with
Thanks,
San
Fletch.
Diego Sports 760. It's good to have you as part of the team. And before we go out, 858 says Grayson Allen is the new face of the NBA. Never, ever, ever. John and Jim next, San Diego Sports 760.